Liz Truss comes in during this time, and I'm so curious to know what you're going to say because I'm trying to find a timeline here. Liz Truss, when Nord Stream pipeline took place, can you type in when Nord Stream pipeline happened, Rob? If you just type in Nord Stream pipeline event, Nord Stream pipeline event happened when? Okay, so this is getting very interesting for me. Very, very interesting. When did Boris step down? September 6, 2022. When does Nord Stream pipeline happen? September 26, 2022. 3 weeks later, okay? Who do they blame? Russia. What does she text? It's done, okay? Then Wall Street Journal comes out with this article, if you want to pull this up, and Americans are like sitting there saying, and by the way, for the audience that's watching this, you can pull up and see who Liz Truss is so they know who Liz Truss is. Rob, if you can just Google and see who Liz Truss is so we can explain to everybody who Liz Truss is and to audience tracking. So she was the British politician who served as Prime Minister of UK for 1 month. Literally, folks, 1 month. September to October 2022. So then she texts, it's done. Then Wall Street Journal comes out with this article September 28th. We're supposed to believe a drunken evening, a rented yacht, the real story of the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage. A private businessman funded the shoestring operation, which was overseen by top general. President Zelensky approved the plan, then tried to unsuccessfully call it off, but it was too late. Are we really supposed to believe this story? Or is there another story you have to tell us what really happened here?
I have deep sympathy towards Britain, British people, British culture. I've been brought up in that. My family has been brought up on British literature. But all I know about Great Britain, 20 plus years of political military analysis, it shows that their historical goal is not to allow union between Russia and continental Europe, especially Germany. Their whole history of external politics of United Kingdom shows that their main goal is not to allow the union between Germany and Russia. I do not know who exploded the Nord Stream now. Officially, unofficially, Ukraine is blamed. There is an investigation done by Germany, Russians. Putin says that there's some Anglo-Saxon did it. I do not know anything about Britain's role, perhaps, in that explosion and sabotage, but I do know that this event could not be outside of Britain's interest, even if the Great Britain did not inspire it or conspired it or got involved. Remember that Great Britain before that created a whole bloc of northern countries, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Netherlands, friends of Ukraine, and their main interest was to restrain Russia and the Baltic Sea and the Baltic theater. What really took place there is one of the biggest and most interesting questions in this war that still needs to be investigated, but I don't have even the least of data and suppositions of what happened there. I do not know at all.
You don't?
Не знаю вообще.
Не знаю. Okay. All right. I know what не знаю is. So, okay, maybe let me ask another question on this. What chance do you think it was Russia behind Nord Stream pipeline?
That Russia themselves exploded that?
Yes.
I think that's non-existent. They would be the last people interested in that.
Okay, 0. Okay, no problem. What percentage, speculation, purely speculating, that, Ukraine was behind it?
Well, I would allow that it could be Ukraine, 20%.
Okay. How about U.S. influencing UK?
I think that, let's put it this way, NATO state, 80% that they're somehow this way or the other are involved in this story. Obviously, it was not Germany, which is the least interested party.
Okay. So, will we ever find out?
I think someday we will. But this could be in 70 years.
70?
But these are the terms of declassifying documents. 70, 80 years.
In 7 or 8 years or 70? 70.
70.
Есть у
Every
каждого
state
Be
has
116 years old.
Да,
Yes.
у каждого
Every
государства
country
есть
has
сроки засекречения.
Why are you doing this
terms
to
for declassifying. It depends on the goodwill and what game they're playing.
Yeah, for me, I'm interested to know, what's going on there.
It could be much earlier. It could be much earlier. Look, if they create a system of collective security in Europe, a new system, it can be only created by politicians with new vision, and these politicians will be interested in definitely cut ties with the past. It means that they will be also interested in exposing to the maximum the truth about the past, and this can happen within a much shorter term than 70 years.
If you've seen the clip with Tucker Carlson and Putin, Putin says that he believes it was U.S. that was behind it. Have you seen that clip?
When he said specifically America?
He
I heard
believes
that they were talking about Anglo-Saxon something, keeping in mind both Britain and the USA.
Rob, can you pull up that clip? It could be, yes. It could be that it's both. But if you want to play this clip with Tucker and Putin.
Nord Stream.
You for sure.
I was busy that day. Nate, do you have I did not blow up Nord Stream. Thank you, though.
У вас лично, может быть, есть алиби. У вас лично.
You personally may have an alibi, but the CIA has no such alibi.
Do you have evidence that NATO or the CIA did it?
Знаете,
You know, I won't get into details, but people always say in such cases, look for someone who is interested. But in this case, we should not only look for someone who is interested, but also for someone who has capabilities. Because there may be many people interested, but not all of them are capable of sinking to the bottom of the Baltic Sea and carrying out this explosion. These two components should be connected. Who is interested and who is capable of doing it?
But I'm confused. I mean, that's the biggest act of industrial terrorism ever, and it's the largest emission of CO2 in history. Okay, so if you had evidence, and presumably given your security services, your intel services, you would, that NATO, the US, CIA, the West, did this, why wouldn't you present it and win a propaganda victory?
In the war of propaganda, it is very difficult to defeat the United States, because the United States controls all the world's media and many European media. The ultimate beneficiary of the biggest European media are American financial institutions.
Rob, you
Don't
can
you know
stop it
that?
at this point.
I have a different explanation.
What was that?
Because these are actions against the main member of the Union, of the ES, who is going to announce it, even if it was a victory.
Who's going to finance it then?
I have no idea. No, announce it. Tucker was asking Putin why this is the largest act of terrorism, why is nobody claiming it as their victory? And Putin explaining, because it's all controlled by the media, and I'm saying because it's an action against the largest member of the NATO, so nobody's going to announce it, even if it actually took place.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's catastrophic, whoever does. And whoever does, 2-3 countries are going to be tied. So there's going to be 2-3 criminals, maybe more, and the level of credibility being lost. They will protect that and use propaganda to blame somebody else. And that game is a very, very effective game played, like he said in there, on what he believes going on. But that was a big event when you think about Nord Stream pipeline. But okay.
You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first fiction book to write, ever. Fiction book to write. And while I finished this book, a year ago, I got the strangest phone call about one of the characters in the book where the guy wanted to meet with me, and he read the book. And afterwards, it's like, wait a minute, am I the villain in the book? This is a story about a character named Asher, who is half Armenian, half Assyrian, whose father was involved in the Iranian Revolution, linked to Savak, working with the Shah, that they escape and he gets recruited to a secret society. Well, when you go to the secret society, it's been around for a couple thousand years. They've developed some of the craziest leaders of all time. And they test you. There's unique tests that they have at this society where they test to see your emotional mental toughness. One of the tests that they have is very rigorous. It's purely mental. Of course, there's a physical one, but one is mental and emotional. If you're Armenian, if you're Syrian, if you're Persian, this is a book you're going to be reading and saying, holy moly, this is the kind of stuff you talk about in here? Yes. If you're somebody that's fascinated by history, this is a book for you. Characters. There's a technology that this society, secret society, builds where you go into a vault. I won't spoil it for you. When you go down, they have a technology where you get to sit down and watch and have a 3-4 hour conversation with Tupac. You can set up a debate between Karl Marx and Ayn Rand. Karl Marx is in the book, who wrote Communist Manifesto. Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged, is in the book. Marilyn Monroe explains the concept of seduction and sex in the book. When you read the book, it's about development of the next leaders in the world and how they do it and how they've been doing it for many years. And it's also about how to prevent the end of civilization and how this organization goes about doing it. So I've never written a parenting book before, but if I ever wrote a parenting book, this is the closest thing to it because it's all mindset, a lot of crazy stories. Again, 13 and a half years. Trust me, I told myself I will not publish this book until I sell my insurance company and I'm fully disconnected from it, where it's no longer my responsibility 100%. When you read this, if you're a creative person, if you like fiction books, if you enjoyed Atlas Shrugged, or if you enjoy Divergent, if you like books like that, I think you're gonna enjoy reading this book. It's the creative side. Business books is very easy. Here's how you do it, here's how this how it works. This is very creative. If you haven't placed the order yet, now you can order it on Simon & Schuster, Amazon. I'm going to put the link up below somewhere here, maybe even in my profile. Go order the book and read it. I've never written a book where I can't wait to read your reviews to see what you think about this book. So I'm going on this wild journey, and we have some plans with this book here. If you support the things that I work on, I would appreciate you going and reading the book, order the book on Amazon, and then post a review. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.